Hello, Mrs. Mathers coming to you again one last time from my classroom. This will be the last recording likely that I make in this classroom, and I wanted to just share some closing thoughts. I don't intend to share this with anyone, but if you happen to stumble upon it, well, you're welcome to watch it. um, so years ago, I read a book called Man's Search for Meaning. It was by this man here, Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a successful psychiatrist in Vienna in the 1930s. In fact, he was working on a suicide ward, and he had learned a great deal about helping patients who were suicidal to find a reason to live. He had a visa to travel to America as the so-called final solution was starting to be put into place, but he didn't really know the gravity of what was going to happen. He let his visa expire, and sure enough, he and his parents and his family were deported. Viktor Frankl ended up in Auschwitz, where he spent 3 years studying humanity in its rawest form. People at Auschwitz, they were freed of all of the encumbrances that are part of their identity, their clothing, their hair, their jewelry, their job titles. All of that was gone, and through that, he was able to see mankind at its very most basic level. Now, certainly that was a horrifying experience, and nothing that I would ever suggest had any positive outcome whatsoever. But there were a couple of things that Viktor Frankl, being in that situation, observed while he was there. And he wrote them down in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. Now, after he was liberated from Auschwitz, he returned to Vienna, where he worked in a hospital and worked with patients and helping them reintegrate into society, which is something that undoubtedly is very, very difficult to do after such a traumatic experience. But he did come to the conclusion that the greatest task for man, or for any person, is to find meaning in their life. And he would suggest from his experiences and his observations that we find meaning in three different ways: in our work, in doing something significant. I've loved my opportunity to teach here two subjects that I love, AP Psychology and AP World History. And I've loved the opportunity to connect with students and their families and the other staff at this school. I really do find great meaning in my work, and I know others do as well in whatever field it is they're working in. But the reality is that for many people, work is a means to an end. It's the way to pay your bills, to support your family, to buy food. And that's not the thing that you're going to primarily find meaning in. And if you do, that's great. That's wonderful. But if you don't, keep in mind that we can find meaning in other ways. Some people find great meaning through their courage, through the way that they go through and they handle and survive those difficult times that come. And even modern research has shown that we can experience growth through our suffering. Some people call this post-traumatic growth. I know in my own experiences that there have been some difficult times, and my family has experienced some difficult things. But I do find meaning in the fact that it has allowed me to be compassionate when other people are going through something that I can relate to. It allows us to be empathetic and to walk beside someone else. And we can find meaning in difficult times. And finally, he says we can find great meaning in love, in caring for another person. This doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, but it could be a child, a friend, a sibling, a parent, anyone that you really truly care for. He says, the salvation of man is through love and in love. I understood how a man who has nothing left in this world still may know bliss, be it only for a brief moment, in the contemplation of his beloved. He talked about how he would look at the sunset coming down in the west over Auschwitz in Poland. And he thought, my wife would think this is beautiful. She would want me to enjoy this sunset. And I think we can find great meaning through love, whatever the relationship is or the nature of the relationship is. When we love another person and we give for them and we care for them, we can experience great meaning. And finally, one of the things that he talks about is how often his students will ask him, what is the key to success? What do I need to do to be successful? And answer his answer can be summarized in this quote. Don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. It only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as a byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. So by giving of ourselves, whether it be in love and kindness, through our work, or through helping others who go through suffering as we have gone through, we will find success. So I'd like to wish you all congratulations and the very best as you move forward in your life beyond this time in high school. You have so much to look forward to, and I do hope to hear from some of you. Take care.